All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming for another night with the Democratic Party. Really appreciate you coming out tonight to enjoy the evening with us. We have here tonight a couple of our candidates for village trustee. We have Mark McDermott and Chad Woodworth. They're going to share their vision for East Rochester. So I'll have those guys come up here now and share what they have to say about their vision for East Rochester.
All right. Thanks, guys, for coming out. Great turnout tonight. More than a dozen. Mark, how you doing?
Good.
Back at Ferrari's. Second time.
Ferrari's. Yes.
Yeah, nice to be outside.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Yeah.
Finally got good weather. Yeah, hey, you're not sweltering in the heat.
You know, I think it's been working well, taking questions from the crowd, seeing if anybody has any thoughts or any questions that need answering. We got a good crowd here tonight. Anybody have anything pop into their head this month? Any questions about the town, about the election, about the party? Anything we can answer? No? Yeah. We've had oh, hold on, one back here. Yeah. So the question for anybody who can hear was about that Garfield Street reconstruction project. So the town's going to rebuild more than half of Garfield Street this year. So we were both at that meeting. This that was just this past week, Mark.
Yeah. This past Tuesday, right?
Yeah. What did you think about it? About how it went and the role?
I thought it was. I thought it was very informative. The engineer did a pretty good presentation. There were 4 sites. Each one had a different degree of work to be done to them. The one thing, though, that I thought he didn't seem to allow a lot of resident input. There wasn't a lot of room to wiggle around and make bike lanes or make the roads a little smaller. It's just going to be the way he's doing it, which, I mean, it's an improvement, but it's not as walkable as we'd like.
Yeah. You know, I 2 months ago at the town board meeting, I talked to the town engineer and I talked to our town administrator, and I asked about the plans for that Garfield reconstruction because I knew that they were moving forward with it this year. And they said, oh, the plans will be out and the board will vote on them and then we'll put them out to public comment. And I really pushed those two for a public comment period before it went out to bid, before it was decided, because I thought it was really important that residents had an opportunity to talk about it. And I was glad to see a good turnout. Again, 15 to 20 people there. Right. And, you know, I share your assessment. Seems like it's going to be a big project, not the entirety of the road, but it's going to basically be the same road, you know, with a few improvements here and there. And so I'm grateful for that, you know, for our roads being repaired. But I feel like there was room for some more treatment in there to make it safer for school kids walking and biking to and from school, improving green space. And I hope that the engineer takes some of our comments because it got pretty lively there for a second. And yeah, I was really excited to see a lot of people out there with us advocating for more public comment and putting their voice in, you know.
Yeah, hopefully this is the kind of thing we want, is more people to get involved in voicing how you want your community to develop into the future.
Right.
So that's one of our biggest platforms we're on, is we just want more people involved.
Yeah, I think we're on our 4th or 5th month of these social hours. Come and ask us anything, hear what we have to say. You know, we're doing all these events out in the community, asking people to tell us what they care about, what they're concerned about, questions they have about our platform, about our campaign. And I'm really proud of that. And I feel like that comment period on Garfield was just a taste of what we would do as trustees. Right. You know, that we need more opportunities for our neighbors to get in there and ask us questions, because if we don't, then how do they know that their money's being well spent by the board?
True.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I think that was a really important step forward.
So probably we should make one little plug here. We are coming up to the season of lawn signs. So if you feel comfortable having a lawn sign and you are promoting it, you're backing us, we'd love to have your yard for a lawn sign. This year, the county has changed the law and said that rather than 45 days before voting, you can have them up 90 days before voting. So
Coming up very soon.
very soon.
Yeah. And we're looking for, volunteers, not only to put them in your yard, but, knock on a neighbor's door, tell them a little bit about our campaign, ask if they'd be comfortable with it too. We got another question here.
While Garfield does need help, what about Brzee and William that have no sidewalks, no curbs, nothing, and poor drainage?
Yeah. So the question was about Brzee and William Streets, both of those not having sidewalks, being close proximity to the school, drainage being a concern there. The town seems to be taking a pretty methodical approach to rebuilding these roads, making these road improvements. And I don't know where those two dead-end streets are in that project, but I think that it goes to the point that the public just needs to be made aware of what this approximate schedule is. Is Brzee, is that a 10-year out project? Is it 5 years out? What's it going to look like? And I think that there's a lot of questions people ask that could be answered, but that information just kind of comes out of a black box that is town hall. Mark and I want to make sure that we have more opportunities to share that information with you. So I couldn't answer that question. Oh, another one.
Yeah, and the point is on Brzee Street, we don't have sidewalks, and yet it is a street that the kids that come off the RTS buses walk down, that a lot of the community that was on the other side of Main Street comes down to get to the school.
Yeah.
And so it would be nice, and parking is allowed, so it's not the safest place for kids to be walking in the morning or in the afternoon.
Right.
I was made aware of that one-way streets are not on the priority to have sidewalks put in, like Worthing Terrace, Brzee.
You mean dead end?
Dead ends.
Yeah.
Probably not going to get sidewalks.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we
Madison.
did have a sidewalk when that house was original, because our house was built in 22.
And they told me we could take it out.
They told us we could take it out and the sidewalks would be on the other side of the street.
Hmm.
Then they made a couple houses put in sidewalks. So you have one sidewalk here, no sidewalk here, and then sidewalk someplace else.
So no coherent plan for which side of the street it was. I think though that this also speaks to what we've talked about a lot, which is just a flexibility of government, that sometimes if the general policy is that a dead-end street doesn't, quote, need a sidewalk, maybe there's certain streets where there is a circumstance like this is a school street that a lot of children walk on to get to school because there's a pass through that fence there, and maybe we just need to reconsider what the policy is, and we need to have an avenue for residents and neighbors to be able to advocate for these things. But instead it kind of falls on deaf ears right now, or there's no avenue to have that discussion. So I think it's a good point I wasn't aware of.
Good question.
Yeah. Any other questions or anything else come up around town you guys were curious about today? Yeah. Oh, we got another one. Yeah. No, there hasn't. So the question's about the Technoplex. So 10 acres right in the heart of downtown East Rochester. So there's been no finalized plan put forth to the zoning board or the town board. There's general information about that out. You can check our latest episode of Let Me Be Frank with You. We've got Frank DePayne here in the audience today. But you can check that latest episode, and the general idea is about 120 senior living apartments and condos, and then some ground floor retail in that space to try to turn it into a more productive area around town. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So the question continues about Technoplex, and I think it's really a continuing discussion about the urban renewal project that was Technoplex and how that really divided our town up, and then the opportunities in the future, and reconnecting Commercial Street, so the diverted traffic around those other streets in town. Towns that or streets that were designed to be residential in nature now have through traffic on them. And I think that this is again another reason why we need more public comment when that proposal is put forth. How do we make sure that it's not just one public meeting where the powers that be can say, yeah, we held a public meeting, and then the same proposal just got hammered through? Because we really need to be able to hear our neighbors' thoughts and concerns about these projects. And I think the traffic's a big one there, and what's going to be done to turn that empty parking lot into some real valuable space for the town. What do you think about it, Mark, about the prospect of...
Yeah, I'd like to see a lot more people get involved in what to do about this.
Yeah. It's hard because we're not the developer, we don't own it, and we don't have the millions of dollars that are going to be put into it. But that being said, those millions of dollars, that's a tremendous opportunity for the town, and that's why we need the public involved. Mark and I have talked about it, and we do think that at least the town and the developer should be investigating the possibility of putting in or speaking with daycare providers there. What would a purpose-built daycare look like in East Rochester? If you're going to spend millions of dollars on this property, maybe you can seek out daycare providers. That's a crisis for a lot of families, including my own, and say, can we build a space for you? And can we get a long-term tenant in there? What about getting a primary care clinic in there from Strong or from RGH? The point isn't that the town is going to open up its own daycare or open up its primary care provider. That's not the point. The point is that people need to have their own chance to ask for these things, and the town, to a certain degree, should take a proactive approach to finding those tenants if at all possible. It's part of what Mark and I really talked about with working with small business and improving the climate around town. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. It merits a lot more discussion, Mm-hmm. Like some open public space. Yeah. 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 No, Mhm. Yeah. I yeah. This goes also to the idea of a comprehensive plan and what a comprehensive plan means. And that means getting these stakeholders involved and actually hearing their concerns and their suggestions and then turning that into action. So, Mark, you're familiar with the idea of a comprehensive plan and how it would affect the town. You ran on that platform before, and the town's inching towards it right now. What does it mean to you, a comprehensive plan?
Well, it means, like I've been saying a lot, more input from the people who live here, what the residents really, really want. I think a lot of people really want more green space. A lot of people have asked more about that and the preservation of the green space that we have. It's a small little 1 square mile. We're a unique little area. You can walk to anything here. We have our own little fire department, our own police force. We should preserve this little nice community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And, I would ask the question of voters, who do you trust to implement a comprehensive plan that is all about public comment, but the people who ask for public comment every single month at these social hours, who do events in the park where we invite all of our neighbors, and every single time we see somebody, we're asking them to tell us about their experience in the town. And it's not about our vision, what we're trying to just push onto people, but instead we're asking people, what does a functional town government look like for you? And I think that that's a sense of humility that we bring to this campaign that we really want to share with voters, that we want you people to know that you're our neighbors and we value what you have to say, and that
Right.
we're going to act on it because you deserve to be respected, not just when November comes. Right? Yeah. Was there another question? Yeah. Right. Mhm. Mhm. Right. Right. Yeah.
They're gonna
Mhm. The Station of Heroes. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. The gazebo there. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. So the question.
they want
Mhm.
they want to create diversified groups to handle for each subject. So one would be parks, one would be playground, one would be senior care facility, one would be what how do we generate new aggressive businesses. They want, and according to their plan, they want us, all of you, to sign up for this, and then they'll pick you to be on the committee.
Mhm. So So the timeline really is opaque right now. We don't know. But I can tell you that before Mark and I decided to run for trustee, each of us raised our hand and said we want to be on that steering committee, we want to be on those subcommittees, we want to be involved because of our other activities around town. Mark, of course, being in the Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary, the Housing Authority, the Parks Committee. I'm involved with ER Walk and Roll, with Safe Routes to School. And so we wanted those to go. It was about a year ago at the last time that the town board had an outside board meeting that I and other members of Walk and Roll stood up and we talked about the fact that we need an active transportation plan, which the town board has said they're going to roll into a comprehensive plan. And so that's about incentivizing and improving walking and biking safety. The question from the audience came and it was talking about young families, how we have this beautiful Station of Heroes and gazebo, but then other parts of our parks are in difficult condition. You know, so all of this is to say that through the comprehensive plan, residents have to make their priorities known and also their ability and their willingness to volunteer. So Mark and I have already done that, and we've been very vocal with the town saying that we want to do that. But the best thing you can do is call the village offices and say, I want to do it. Right now, the steering committee is being developed. That's by an outside contractor, the same company that is our town engineer is developing it. So we'll have to see what they come from. Yeah, but we don't know where the process is now, and we don't have a timeline, unfortunately. But I can tell you again, Mark ran on this 2 years ago. And so this could have happened if Mark was up there every month for the town board meeting saying we need a comprehensive plan because we need sound development in this town. Then we'd have a wider discussion about things like Taco Bell and about Burn Dairy. This isn't just some idea, some piece of paper that's going to be thrown in a closet. This is about the next 20 and 30 years of our town, and we need a coherent plan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Mhm. Yeah. The question or the comment from the audience came, and it was about sustainability of investment in the town. Is another mini mart really that sustainable? And Mark, you're a small business owner. What does sustainable small business look like to you when you think about what you want Commercial Street to look like, or your other small business owners?
I was personally not all that in favor of all these little mini marts and gas stations going up. I think they look at the demographics in this town and they feel they can get away with this. It's not good future planning. That's my opinion.
Mhm.
But as far as other new businesses, we should be looking around New York State. What do we have that we can offer you, and what can you offer us? Let's have a nice, good union here. But we have to wait and see.
Right. Well, you know, other towns, even towns our size, have business development agencies that very aggressively pursue new businesses to come in. You know, what is the type of business we want here? And then when we have some interest, we say, how can we make this better for you? How can we make East Rochester a competitive place for you to invest? You know, we're at Ferrari's here today, and I think a lot of people agree that this is an incredible place that they spent a lot of money on to make this place
really
a great venue.
This looks
The
great.
town should be knocking on doors of all of these businesses and all of these business landlords and saying, how can we help you build the next Ferraris, right? And we can't just count on this happening organically, and the government needs to get involved in encouraging it. And that doesn't mean massive tax subsidies that aren't going to ever be paid back. That just means showing a genuine interest in investment in our town. Yeah. Another question? Yeah.
It seems to me that we have gone for the fast food growth. And I know that this was privately owned land and they could, but when I see the people lined up at Taco Bell, they're not going to be spending a lot of money in East Rochester. They're going to drive through and drive out of here. So I think we need to look at businesses that will attract people rather than just have another drive-through.
Yeah.
We have Tim Hortons, we have Taco Bell, we have Wendy's, and they're all in a row.
Yeah. You know, my parents were small business owners, and when I think about it, you know, somebody owns that franchise, and it's going to be paying taxes that otherwise wouldn't be there. But the question should be one about wealth building. How do you build wealth inside of this town? And that's with small business owners, people who actually live here and are going to invest not only in their restaurant, but they're going to work and they're going to invest in their own home, and they're going to bring pride to this neighborhood. And I think you're right that, sure, that those new developments will pay their taxes, but we can do more. And we can also increase the appeal of this town. And it's not just by being a drive-through alley where people come and go on their way to work. I just don't think that that's really the way forward for the town.
Long-term investment.
Yeah, exactly. Long-term. Did any other questions or anything from the audience or anything come up today? You know, Mark and I have an awful lot going on this month. Let's see. Wednesday, we're going knocking on doors. We're making a concerted effort. We're going to work with the Adam Bello campaign. We're going to introduce ourselves to voters, invite them to all of our events. Of course, in August, we're going to have another open committee meeting. Anybody can come. You don't even need to be a registered Democrat. Anybody who just wants to come and see how we run our party. And that's also how we want to run the town, right? We want people to be able to come into all these town board meetings. We're going to do another social hour in August. Location yet to be decided. And we're going to invite people to ask more questions there. August 12th, though, Mark, we got a big event down at Legion Iyer Park.
Yes, we have the bocce tournament.
Yeah, we're going to do a bocce ball tournament. There's no fee to enter. Anybody can come and play. It's going to be a $40 grand prize for the winning team, but then also $20 for the best team name. So we're just trying to do another family-friendly activity, invite people to come out, an excuse to meet us, and an excuse to meet you guys. We just want to have fun with our neighbors and want them to know that we're welcome to be spoken to and ask questions of.
And September 30th at PG's Restaurant, we are having a local band play. Luca Foresto and the Electro Kings. They do great music.
Yep.
Everybody in the village loves them, so come on down to that and have fun.
Yeah. We're just excited to meet everybody. We're excited to be challenged, people to ask us questions, learn more about your needs in the village. So please just ask us anything on Facebook, and we'll answer within 24 hours, and we take that really seriously.
Yes. Thank you again.
Mark, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.